Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are in the world. This is Ali Ettarnichi at Ali Dose of Inspiration. And as promised, every Monday we bring guests from all over the world sharing their story of hope, rebirth, and resiliency. So by sharing those stories, it's just giving people like a roadmap, a blueprint that it can be done if we have the right mindset, if we are willing to move from where we are and get ourselves unstuck. And today we have Genesis and Maris came from
Houston.
Houston, sorry, from Houston. And today she is going to share with us her story about how she really turned her struggle to success, how she managed to turn her tragedy to triumph, and decided to be a bouncy ball that the more life hit her, the more she jumped higher and higher. Welcome, my friend Genesis Amaris, to Ali Dose of Inspiration. Please tell us a little bit more about yourself and your story that people can hear.
Thank you so much for having me on your show. First and foremost, a little bit about me for you lovely listeners out there. My name is Genesis Amaris Kemp. I am a native Houstonian, but also first generation American. My family is Caribbean and South American descent. I have been and I have been here for some time. So even though I was born in the US, I am still very much tied to my cultural background, where my family instilled in me a lot of spiritual as well as religious values that help me, navigate some of the trials and tribulations I faced growing up, as well as professionally, and how I use the trials and tribulations that I endured to be my stories of victory, triumph, and now my testimonies, where I could talk about what I went through, because I'm no longer letting those fear, bondage, or whatever the world may view to keep me in a point where it's limiting me to achieve higher. So a little bit more about me. I am the author of Chocolate Drop in Corporate America, From the Pit to the Palace. I am a visionary, inclusion and diversity enthusiast, self-development advocate, and I'm also a woman that will help you tap into your passion, but also fuel your purpose so you can walk out your destiny, assignment, and calling on your life.
Amazing. I love that. I love that. So just like to go back, like we know, like most of the story that we have is the struggle, and people really want to dive deeper inside the struggle. And some people that they are listening and watching, that struggle is something that can be avoidable, which is painful, which is hard. But the problem is the sufferance, because the sufferance is we choose to suffer. Because pain, if you lose someone you really love dearly and you lost them, that's something that you can't really control. It's painful, it's hurt. But the sufferance, if you can grave on them like for a few days, for a few weeks, few months. But the sufferance, we need to know how to get ourselves unstuck and move forward. And that is what a lot of people, they stay in that situation as a victim and try to get people attention, try to get people like, yes, I'm in this situation, why it's me, why it's me? Well, why it's you? Give me somebody that I can name somebody. But God, when really put us in that rejection, or that mess, is actually, rejection can be our redirection in life. And can you just share like how, like I know you were bullied for a certain time in your life, and also you went through depression. How did you manage, or how some tool that help you get out from that?
So when I was a victim of bullying back in high school, it really took me to a dark season in my life where I really didn't know who I was whenever I was, entering in that particular season of my life. But by having parents that were very religious and spiritual, they taught me, to go back to the word of God. And what does the word of God say about you? You were created for a purpose. Like, he knew you before he formed you in your mother's womb. And just me getting more in tune with my spiritual side, I started to grow and mature more. And I started to see the value that God had on my life. And then I started to practice self-care and self-awareness, where I was tuning out the negativity of what the world was saying about me, what my peers were saying about me. And I started to redirect and rechannel that energy to a positive outlook on me. I started to say, I am beautiful, I am strong, I am intelligent, I am worthy. And I came up with my I am statements. And those I am statements, whenever you start to recite it, you start to envision it. Once you start to envision it, you start to see the manifestation come into place, and you start to walk with confidence. You hold your head up high, and you're removing the strongholds, the soul ties, the bondage, and the limitation that the world and people are placing on you, because you know who you are. And once you know who you are, you won't be victim to who people tell you you aren't, if that makes sense. So you really have to take the blinders off and remove the judgment, remove the hatred, remove the labels, because a label is placed on people to keep them in confinement. Because once that label is on you, they think that's all you're going to be. But you're more than just a label. You are uniquely created. We're all here for a purpose, and we all have gifts and talents. But once we start to practice self-care, self-love, and self-awareness, then we can build ourselves up and strengthen ourselves. So those are some tools that I use. And another tool that helped me get out of that rut was journaling, like taking those negative thoughts out of my head and writing them on paper. Because once you write it down, there's a saying that says, write the vision and make it plain. And then when you write things down, you're also holding yourself accountable, because now you have something that you can reflect on. You could say, oh, I wrote this on this date, and look where I am now. And you start to build your confidence, and you start to see, okay, this is what I said back then. I wasn't even thinking about where the future was leading, but I had faith enough to write something down. And now I'm actually walking out what I wrote down. So just little tips like that. So start by journaling, start by practicing self-care, whether you need to, go get a massage, whether you need to take a nap, whether you need to start exercising, because once you start exercising, it's releasing endorphins and you're conditioning your body. But also the principle of exercising, not only are you conditioning your body to be healthy, but you're also conditioning your mind, and you're feeding yourself, because you want to be whole mentally, physically, and emotionally. So once you have those in balance, you could start to see yourself, better than when you went in.
Love that. Really powerful what you just shared, Genesis, because self-care is the key to any journey. Self-care is where everything starts, is the core, and everything is coming from the inside. And when people focus the inside, the blossom come out. And we see a lot of people that they look really fit from outside. They look physically fit, but emotionally unfit. And that is the problem. It's kind of like we are trying to show the world that we are good, but we are lying to ourselves, which is the most important person is us that we need to take care of. And they really love when you share about the affirmation. This is very powerful, because the affirmation is what we tell ourselves. I am. And we have to be very careful with the word I am, what we put beside it. Never put something negative. I am powerful. I am strong. I am great. I am wonderful. Those really, really great point you shared. Also, when you mentioned about the vision, because the vision is something that we envision and something that we see ourselves in the future. And when you put it on the paper, it make it valid. It make it give us like to be held ourselves accountable. And those so powerful that you really did that. And the journaling is my friend. They have like so many like books, just like journal every morning in the evening. It's just like it keep you putting everything on paper and what is you are grateful for. And those that what keep Genesis floating and refusing to drown in the midst of life, in the struggle of life, and in the struggle what life throw at her. So with that, like I see that you went through depression as well, my friend, and Depression, we know, it is a feeling, it is emotional, it is a roller coaster that's happening inside. How did you manage, like at an early age, like to be able to raise above the obstacle?
So I started to realize that depression, it's not just a condition that people can't get over. It's
Mm-hmm.
not a condition where, oh, I'm depressed, so I need to get on medication. I never got on medication because I realized that depression was, to me personally, with what I believe, it was a demonic attack, but it also was a soul tie. But one way that I got out of that depression was changing my mindset, because depression can be a mindset where your thinking is altered and you start to see things or that weren't really, there. And the way you feel is something that you conjure up, because you could easily tell your mind, oh, I have a headache, I have a headache. And then next thing
Mm-hmm.
you know, you get a headache, because those are the things that you are reciting over and over. But
Mm-hmm.
once you try to take a step back, and it's like almost like peeling the layers of an onion back, and you start to peel away the negativity, you peel away, the forces that are throwing darts out at you, whether they're physical forces or they're supernatural forces, you
Mm-hmm.
start to strip those away. So you're peeling another layer back. Then you start to peel back, what are you allowing your eye gate to see? So what are you watching on TV? Is it producing negative energy that's causing your mood to be altered? And
Mm-hmm.
then the other layer is who's in your inner circle. So who's in your ear gate? Are the people that's in your inner circle, are they feeding you negativity? Are they causing you to see yourself in a different light? Because sometimes when we allow, external forces to meet internal forces, then
Mm-hmm.
that's where sometimes depression can be born, because we're so busy looking at what's around us versus what's inside of us. And
Mm-hmm.
what's around us can play to what's inside of us, because sometimes people say, tell me tell me who your friends are and I'll show you who you are, because we were never meant to be connected to that person, but that person made us feel good, or that person accepted us, but that person was also taking us away from our dream and our purpose. So that was part of my depression, because I was so busy trying to compete with other people whenever I needed to compete with myself, and I needed to really value myself, who Genesis is, and really see my worth. So that was a form of emotional ties, as well as spiritual warfare, where I was battling the good thoughts versus the evil thoughts. So there
Mm-hmm.
was a battlefield in my mind, and there was a fight for turf. And once I started to take away the negative forces, the negative energy, and the negative people in my life, I started to see the depression break off.
Mm. Depression break off. So we have to be the guard that protecting the gate, the eye gate and the ear gate. And whatever coming
Yes.
through that, we have to be holding like a sword and waiting. No, you are not supposed to go from there. So it is like, as you said, I really love the way you put it. It is the eyes almost like a camera that capture what
Mm-hmm.
is going on, and it's linked to the subconscious and to the mind, and the mind will act on that also what we hear. And when you mention also the inner circle, who
And what
assist,
we release
and
too.
what we release, everything is connected, like it's just like a circle that really we have to focus what we feed our mind, what we feed our soul, what we feed our, it's like a garden. Any thought, like if you want to really flower, you plant good seed. If you want thorn, you also will get what you feed your garden. And the same thing for the mind, you be the guard and be at the front of the gate. Don't let anything that will be negative come in. And also when you mention about the headache, like we keep telling yourself, I have a headache, I have a headache, and that of course you will get a headache, because what you say and what you repeat, it will appear. And what you don't say and what you don't repeat, it will disappear. And that's really really good point about how you manage to go to get out from depression. We're not saying that depression is not real. We're not saying that depression is, there is some cases that there is some chemical imbalance, and some people that's really severe. And medication might help at some point. And but also the mindset and the attitude help big time. Some people that they just feel like they need that attention, and they put themselves in that negativity. It's just like a bottle. When you have a bottle and you fill it with toxic, when you fill it with so many tap and you never let some air come out, that bottle will explode. So the same thing with our emotion. We suppress it and suppress it and suppress it to the point that oof, it just explode. And we need to learn. People need to learn to talk. Need to people to share. People need to. It's okay to take care of yourself. It's some places like depression. It's like a taboo. Like if you go see a psychologist or see somebody or you take care of your emotion, it's almost like we are ashamed of it. And it's the same thing like if you have a headache or if you have like a pain, you go see a doctor, the same thing for what is going inside. Letting it out is releasing. It's getting old stuff and getting a new stuff in. And what you share with us, Genesis, is just wonderful because it's all about the mindset, it's all about the affirmation, it's all about the vision, it's all about what we feed our soul, our thought. And how Genesis now feel, how Genesis after like being in that situation, if we compare now, probably it's a big difference, the way you see and the way you.
Yeah, I feel so much better now that tapped into those emotions and I overcame those emotions, because now I have different tips, tricks,
Mhm,
and tools to help someone else that may be going through something similar that I went through. And so now it's giving me the power to really influence in that area. And I tell people sometimes we go through seasons in our lives, they may not necessarily be for us, but it may be so we can be the vehicle to help someone else be transported and get out of their rat race or the rut that they may be in.
mhm,
So sometimes when you go through things in life, don't just say why me, but just say why not you, because
mhm,
you were strong enough to endure what you went through. Because had it happened to someone else, they may not have been strong as you, and they may have committed suicide, they may have lashed out on other people, or etc. So instead of saying why me, just start saying why not me. I'm strong enough to bury this burden for a short period of time, but at the end of this cycle, I'm going to come out bigger and better than how I went into the cycle. And I'm now going to be a witness, and I am going to have a testimony to share to others to help them break their bondage, to help them rise up and be strong. And I'm going to go on to impact and change lives. That's how you could retrain yourself.
mm. I love that. Really love that because why me? And instead of just saying why not me, because sometimes really God choose people who can handle it. And it's almost like when God put us through some difficult time or hard time or hardship, just like almost God telling us, hey, excuse me, hey, you, yes, you are going the wrong direction. So you should really shift the direction that you are going. And sometimes a lot of people stuck to a door that they keep knocking, and the door is closed for a reason, and we keep going back to that door and keep knocking. And the more we go back to that door and the more we keep knocking at that door, the more harder we will get, the more frustrated we will get. So that door was closed for a reason. We need to move to more opportunity, open a different door. And I love this one. I think I hear this so often. Rejection is God protection to guide us in the right direction. And when we really know that, when we really know that hardship is meant for us to see life from different perspective, to see life from different angle, we become straight focused and have a vision. And now that our struggle is our friend to show us the way, to lead us the way. Because Genesis, she went through that bully, she went through that depression, she went through all that. And now she sees it from different perspective. Now she can feel what people go through, and she can offer some tools or some tips to help them get out from that. But if she didn't go through that, she won't be able to talk about it now. She won't be able to share her wisdom, her knowledge about all that stuff. So it's all about the mindset, as we started the talking at the beginning, as we mentioned. And it's also about the attitude, because some people, if you give them a solution, or if you give them the whole success of the world, they always see a problem. And some people with a good attitude, you give the see solution in a problem. And they said, like, if you have a bad attitude, just like a flat tire, you are going nowhere. It's just like dragging and dragging. And now we went through the mindset, we went to affirmation, we went to vision, we want to bouncing back. I love that word, bouncing back. And life is all really like a bouncing ball. It's just like you bounce back and you become stronger at it, because life is the only school that we never graduate from. You go to college and you graduate, you get a certificate. You go to university and you get a certificate. But life, if you think you graduate, you didn't learn, because life will keep throwing stuff at you to make you stronger at a certain area. It will throw another thing at you to make you stronger at a certain area till we live life. And that's really when we understand life from this perspective, we become aware that life is for us. And when problem happen, it's happened for a reason, because God have a different vision for us. God have future for us. We just have to be able to move from our comfort zone and move to something that's better us. And a lot of people really, and Genesis, you can agree with me or disagree with me on this, but sometimes people really get scared to join something or a different opportunity, because sometimes the cave we are scared to enter hold the treasure we are seeking. The cave we are afraid to enter hold the treasure we seek. This is the word I was missing. So what was the treasure that, or what was the cave that Genesis was afraid to enter at those period, like?
At those periods, it was just afraid to speak up, afraid to really fight for who I was, because I was like, okay, are people even going to listen? Are people going to resonate with me? But then I had to remember that the fight wasn't for me to get approval from those people, because I
Mm-hmm.
have already been validated by my maker. So I learned one of the powerful statements that people always say is, if you live for man's approval, you will die by their rejection. So stop waiting on people to validate who you are and start validating yourself. So that's how I really, started to cope, because I'm like, okay, I'm so busy trying to see what other people are going to say and how they're going to react to me. Well, I can't let that fear of what ifs, or the fear of unknown, or the fear of getting outside of my comfort zone cause me to remain limitless, because I want to be limitless.
Mm-hmm. Can you repeat that expression you share? If you live for a man's
So
approval?
if you live for a man or woman's approval, you will die by their rejection.
Hmm, that's strong, really powerful.
Yeah.
I really love that. If
A lot of people say that, a lot of older people that I have been in contact with. So I was like, this is a powerful statement.
it is, it is a powerful statement, and unfortunately, a lot of people that's what they are doing. It's just like trying to approve, trying to impress people that they don't even love them, trying to be like this. I'm trying to get approval from the other people, but the only one thing that we really need to get approval from is ourselves. Are we happy with who we are? Are we happy with our action? Because try not to be better than anybody else except the person that you were yesterday. And this is one book that I read a few years ago by a Canadian author, Andrew Dooley, called Day One. And these two sentences that stick with me big time. It say, am I living up to what is important to me, or just satisfying a list of requirement that life has imposed on me? And that two sentences, I I write it everywhere. I put it on the mirror, in the bathroom, in my bedroom, everywhere, on the fridge. And every time I go to the bathroom on the mirror, I say, am I living up to what is important to me? or just try to satisfy a list of requirements that life have imposed on me. I'm trying to do it for my parent. I'm trying to do it for my friend. We'll go back to the approval. I'm trying to do it so people say, oh, look at Genesis, or look at Ali. They are doing a really good job. But is it giving me fulfillment? Is it giving me the passion that I'm really passionate about? And that's when we really get lost. Sometimes we did this. Some people just like, it's become like approval. It's become so insane. Like people just put something on Facebook and they say, oh my God, nobody put like, oh my God, nobody like, and they see them like, just like trying to see how many like did they get? How many come they get? And they get offended just for that freaking like that they don't get. So this is a big thing for approval and stuff. And they really like this. If you live for a man or a woman approval, you will die for the rejection.
Yeah.
And don't be like that. We don't need to be like that because we are created original. Why we choose to die copy? Copy word nothing. Copy word less. So be original. Be who you are. Live fully, love openly, and be yourself. And you will live a fulfilled life. That's simple as that. But it take work. It take inner work to reach that level.
It sure does. And I think everyone has the necessary tools to achieve that greatness that's inside of them. They
Mm-hmm.
just have to tune out listening to everyone else. They have to tune out trying to, please their spouse, please their mom and dad. Just focus on pleasing yourself, and whoever's meant to be a part of your future will be there. But don't try to force seasonal people into lifetime journeys, because those seasonal people are meant to be seasonal for a reason. They're not meant to be lifetime. So
Mm-hmm.
discern seasonal people between lifetime people. You can't take everyone with you to the mountaintop.
Mm-hmm. Seasonal people and lifetime people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. This is life is a journey, and life is too short, and people need really to focus on what is important. Don't sweat the small stuff because small stuff doesn't really worth our time. Time is kicking, time is passing, and time we can't buy it, we can't borrow it, we can't save it. If its time is gone, it's gone. Money, a lot of people worry about money. Money you can borrow it, you can save it, you can work hard for it, but time, do what you love. Do what give you fulfillment. Do what give you connection. And also about the vision. People need to have a vision for themselves instead of wasting times and years and without realizing what they are doing. Do something that give you fulfillment. Do something that give you related to your passion. So we have like 5 minutes, my friend Genesis, and this topic, this conversation is really amazing with you. I really love your spirit, your energy, and just like what does Genesis now doing? What's after all this? I know you write a nice book. Tell us a little bit about the book. What's it's about?
So I published my first book last year, Chocolate Drop in Corporate America, From the Pit to the Palace, and I'll show you what it looks like. This is my book.
Mm.
So even though the name may be controversial, Chocolate Drop in Corporate America, you could definitely see the book cover has a world in the background, which is intentional to let people know that issues don't just happen in America, but they happen worldwide. So widen your perspective
Mm.
and, think across the oceans. And then there's different people from various industries as well as various ethnicities to promote inclusion and diversity, because it starts with all of us working together to create a revolution of opportunities. And
Mm-hmm.
then from the pit to the palace, I went through the dark seasons, but the dark seasons is what led me to the palace, because had I not endured the darkness, I wouldn't appreciate the light.
Mm.
So don't let the title of the book deter you from picking it up. The book, it starts out with me writing in 2013, and I talk about the experiences that I endured working for a Fortune 500 oil and gas company. I also talked how I started at the bottom of the totem pole, meaning I started working as an administrative assistant, but I saw myself more than an administrative assistant, and I worked to get outside of the admin bucket. And then I ended up getting to 2 professional roles. And it was a struggle, but I believed in myself more than the company had believed in me. And I proved them wrong, telling them, hey, you didn't just hire me to be an admin. I see myself more than an admin, and I'm going to put in the work to get to where I want to go.
I love it. I love it. It's determination and the will to do it.
Yeah.
The will to do it. It's all come back to the will to do it. The will to do it to get out from your depression. The will to do it to get from your past situation. So this is a powerful message. Like Genesis is an example right here. I really love from pit to palace.
From the pit to the palace.
From the pit to the palace. And what make you choose that Genesis, that title, from the pit to the palace? I know this is the subtitle from the chocolate as well. That's
so I'll break down the main title and then I'll go to the subtitle. So chocolate drop, it represents, me being African American and Black. And, so many people say, oh, I'm Black, or I'm Black American, or I'm not African American because my parents aren't from Africa. So I was like, there's so much BS behind Black and African American. So I was like, okay, I'm like a Hershey Kiss, but I can't say Hershey Kiss because I don't want to be sued by the Hershey company. So I was like, I'm chocolate. I'm a chocolate, and then I'm a drop because I'm that drop in corporate America, because in oil and gas where I work, you don't see a lot of people that look like me. So you have the chocolate, me being a drop, me being a few in corporate America. And then from the pit to the palace, the pit represents darkness. It's that dark season that you go through that makes you really appreciate and resonate with the lightness and your kingdom that you're building. And that kingdom could be a palace. It could be the empire that you're building. It could be the legacy that you want to leave, or it could be the foundation that you're paving for future generations to come.
Really love that. Really, you have intention for it. Have a story. The title it have intention, and it have like chocolate is the same. It's all tastes good. It doesn't matter if it's African American or if it is African from Caribbean, or it doesn't matter. Chocolate is white or black, dark chocolate. It's all tastes good. We are human.
Yes, and we all love chocolate.
Exactly. So it's all about human, and it's all about that. This is something that really need to open people's eyes toward, like, we are all human. If we open our heart, it have the same blood. It's red. It have the same heart. It doesn't matter if you're black or white or yellow or Chinese or African or Moroccan or Muslim or Christian or Jew. We are all human. Let's all focus on that. Just what is there for us, what's keep us together, what can we do instead of competing against each other, but complement each other. Focus on inclusion instead of exclusion. And this is what I do myself too. I advocate for humanity, I advocate for inclusion, I advocate for diversity. This is a strong topic to my heart. I did a summit last November 2020. What is holding us back from connecting as one world, with 26 speakers from all over the world, and amazing, like everyone shares what is holding us back from connecting as one world. The ego, the greed, the materialism, technology, all that stuff. And either we accept it or not, COVID-19, when it hit the first time in the history, we get united from north to south, from east to west. It doesn't matter if you have a blue passport or red passport. You can travel, you stay home, either poor or rich. The COVID hit the poor and the rich. It even hit Donald Trump, the president. It hit the poor. So we don't have to wait till something really strong shake us. So we can really look for what is important to us. Like spend time with family, care for each other, support each other. We come to this life naked. and we live naked. We don't take anything with that. So why all this division? Why all this exclusion? Why all this stuff? I just this is just come out because when you mention diversity and inclusion, all that stuff, I'm a big advocate about that, and I hate when people just think they are better than others, or people think I am from developed country and underdeveloped country, or you are from Caribbean, or you are from Africa, or you are from chocolate is chocolate. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, we all we
well, we
all
are
bleed
all
the same.
chocolate. We are all chocolate from the universe.
Yeah.
yeah. What is your last message, my friend? You would like to share? Look, I told you I was tired. I don't even I can do this now. I'm all excited. I'm all fired up now because it's something that's really we need to bring attention to people. Like it's we need to come up together as what is important to people, what is important to humanity, and teaching children. That's where it
Yes,
starts. Teaching
that's one of
children. Mhm.
very important. It's very important to instill it into children because they are going to be the future. So if we're able to combat, social injustice, we're able to open up their minds to see things beyond, what society has, then we're already instilling them values that they could take into their adulthood. So it's so important that we teach our children as well as the next generation fruitful things to help them see it's okay to celebrate people who don't look like you. It's okay to ask questions if you don't understand something. It's okay to say, I don't agree with what you said, but can you help me see it from your viewpoint? It's okay to be transparent, and it's okay to be who you are, not what people want you to be. And so, one of my messages for the kids have been, hey, who do you want to be when you grow up? Not what do you want to be when you grow up? Because I just hated people asking me, what do you want to be when you grow up? Because what is a form of confinement? So, one thing that I will leave with the listeners today is a reflection quote from my book. And it's going to be, stop waiting for someone to co sign your dreams. Start running with passion. In time, the right people who genuinely care and want to support you will fall into place. So don't wait for someone to validate and put a stamp of approval on your dream or co sign your dream. Start doing it now. Do it with the resources you have, do it with the education you have. If you're
Mhm.
not sure how to go about it, there's YouTube. You could learn stuff on YouTube. You can Google it. You could join different organizations or groups online. The resources are endless. So stop making excuses and start living, not just existing.
Mm. Start living, not existing. And do you know what is my motto in life? Live fully, love openly, and be yourself. And
Love it.
that's when we really live fully. It's just we need to live life. Live life. That's what we call it life. And people did just like walking dead. You don't even see what's going on. Shakespeare said, earth have music for those who listen. And why we increase the speed of life when life is just going normal. And now a lot of people say, oh, I am a multitasker. I do this, I did this, but you don't realize you are mediocre as well too. You don't really enjoy time with your family. You don't enjoy time with life as it is. Amazing having you, my friend Genesis, on this show. You really give some really good nugget, and I can just share quickly what you give here. I took some note. Why me? Why not you? And also, you said if you live for a man or woman approval, you will die for their rejection. Seasonal people or lifetime people, you choose. Chocolate drop into corporate America, into corporate America, from the tip to the palace. You choose. Don't stay in the pit, but move to the palace. Who do you want to be? Or we said, who do you want to be? Or what you want to be when you grow up. So who do you want to be? I want to be a change maker, or I want to be someone that make a difference, or I want something just maybe to make money or to make stuff like that. And start to live your life. We need to live our life because life is too short and we need to live our life. Two word, my friend, and we are closing this early dose of inspiration. Two word. Two word to live with the audience. I know you shared a nice message, powerful at the end, but
inspiration and limitless.
inspiration and limitless. Love it. Thank you very much, my friend. And I really appreciate being here with us tonight. And that for people to buy, to find out about you, to follow you and stuff, would you mind sharing your information with them, like where they can follow you? If you have a
Yes.
website or
I'm on Facebook as Genesis. That's Genesis. Amaris, Amaris. Last name Kemp, Kemp. I have an author page under Chocolate Drop in Corporate America. Available via email at genesisamarisKemp@gmail.com. And my book is available for purchase on Amazon in paperback for $13 and Kindle for $2.99. And if you want to purchase it from a brick and mortar store, you can reach out to Book Mecca, that's MECCA, or Shelves Bookstore. And if you want an autographed copy of the book, you can reach me via email again at genesisamarisKemp@gmail.com.
amazing. Thank you very much, my friend, for sharing that. And also, you can send me those information. And when I post this show, and I will just share it as a caption there for the video. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, at Ali Dose of Inspiration for another show. Stay tuned for more to come. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you.